Hey, this is me building and strategizing my 400k per year profit solo consulting business right in front of your eyes. And what you're watching right here is a daily video series that always follows the exact same framework. I always start by answering your questions. This means that if you have any question, then you can ask it down below in the comment section, and then I'll answer your question in tomorrow's video. It's a good engagement hack, and it gets people to tune back in, and it also allows me to bring some instant value, which is the whole point of creating content, right? Then I'll run you through business stats, which is me filling out this sheet that basically tracks the growth of my social channels, but also the cash, cost, and revenue of my business. Then I'll run you through my to-do list, what I did today, and then last but not least, I do some live strategy on how I'm planning to get my business to $1 million a year in personal profit. Right now I'm pacing 500k this year in profit, so I just need to double it, right? So that's why I'm doing this video series, also for accountability, and it's just a good way for me to show you how I'm building this business very transparently. I've already taken 2 of my previous coaching businesses to more than 100k per month, but this time I want to do things a little bit differently. So welcome, this is the daily updates channel that you're watching right now. So what I always do is that I get into my comments here, and then I find a comment that I haven't interacted with. So for example, Miguel here, and then I read it out loud and answer it. So if you have any questions, hey, just ask away. Hey Fred, hope you're doing great. I am, so thank you, bro. I want to create content with purpose, and the best format I found for me is talking head with no editing. My objective is to be as raw and helpful as I can. I love that. On this note, I was thinking of using Instagram to just document my day-to-day, behind the scenes, etc. And YouTube for bottom of funnel content focused on coaches and consultants. I like that. My question is, will it harm me to show transparently that I don't know basic stuff like outreach, emotional struggles, etc.? Because that's a completely different demographic than the one that I want to sell to. Because from my perspective, the content on Insta will be more valuable for people on the same level as me getting into business, beginners. Doesn't that harm me in the eyes of a prospect? If he's still learning these things, why should I trust him at all? Thanks in advance and keep up the good work. This is actually a really, really good question, bro, and very intelligent, first of all. So I appreciate you sharing it. I think, as you said, right, I think there are 2 parts to creating content. There is creating content for yourself and kind of like documenting and speaking from own experiences and learnings and these kind of things. And then there's also the content which is created for your ideal customer profile, right? This means that you share content that is valuable because it highlights how you can help your ideal customer profile improve their business, health, fitness, whatever, just like solve their problems and move forward into a better position with their life in any area, right? And I think because, for example, I know there's a lot of people online, for example, saying, hey, I just quit my job, and in the next 3 months, I'll document my day-to-day here on Instagram, where I show you how I get from 0 to 10k a month. And it's almost impossible for these people to get clients, right? Because what they're basically saying in their content is that I am a beginner, right? So I think it's about really understanding the content that you create and what purpose it has, because it's awesome for these people that is sharing their journey transparently online, because it gets a lot of people to follow along, because people love to follow along with like public goals and missions and these kind of things. So I think, bro, you're right on here with your reflection. I think long form YouTube is amazing for middle of funnel and bottom of funnel to really show people what you're great at and how you can help them. And Instagram is good for getting new eyeballs in if you don't run paid ads, because short form content is typically easier, quote unquote, to attract new viewers, and it's easier to produce a high volume of content, especially the ones that you're mentioning there, bro. So I think, bro, maybe just share tips and tricks for your audience, grow your business, and then while you're growing your business, then start like adding the personal touches to it. That's probably how I would do it if I were you, because I did the same thing, right? I grew my agency to around like $8,000 or $10,000 a month. And then I started like sharing content about a short form content agency, which I was running back then. So like, here's what I learned from scaling my agency. And then I launched a program for beginners on how they could start and scale their marketing agency. And I did that in February 2023 when me and my partner was making around 20k a month in the agency. And then I scaled that coaching business, and along the way, I was making, or like my business was doing, sorry, not personal profit, but my business was doing like 50, 100, all the way up to 200k a month in revenue with 14 full-time employees. But all the content that I was making was, here's how to get your first paying client. Here's how to do outreach. Because I was speaking to my audience because it fit well with the product that I was selling. And then in the end, I felt kind of like disconnected from the content that I was sharing and what I was doing. And then I decided to shut that business down, also for some other reasons. And then I opened up the business now, where all I do is just like, hey, I'm Fred, I've done these things, and this is what I do in my day-to-day life in order to like scale my business. And I can probably teach you how to do the same in your business, right? I help people around the same level as me. Not really, but like I'm between like 50, 60, 70K a month, and my typical clients are doing like 30, 40. But I also have clients doing more than me, like in revenue, because they know that I had built and scaled the business to 200K a month. And so I also have some clients that are doing like 110, like 110, 120, and my highest client is doing like 140. So yeah, bro, to answer your question, I think it's like, be smart in terms of like who you're trying to speak to and attract, because the most interesting content for people to follow along is by following people who have actually done something. So I think, bro, start with like the hard stuff, which is to get clients and bring value to them. And then once you have some credibility with you scaling your own business and having some like proof, either for clients or for yourself, then you can start documenting transparently. That's probably what I would do if I were you. And we have my good friend, my mentee, and also my podcast host, Vince, here saying intro with the glasses is so swag. It's because I'm recording these so late. Today is like 9 p.m. because I was out with some friends for some dinner in Dubai Mall. So that's why I'm wearing the blue light blockers. Then we have Pedro, who's back with a comment here. Let's see. My goal is to include a more general approach and guidance to nutrition on my first and second offers, and then on the third one include her to create more versatile and advanced meal plans, 100% created specifically to each person. This way I can both help people who just want to get help around their training or people who needs the entire stuff. I like that. I did a nutrition coaching course a while ago in addition to my experience to try and give it a go, but after learning and trying to apply it, it's not something I really enjoy or something that I feel entirely confident in doing. Fair enough, man. So instead of having a not that great nutrition service added on my coaching, I'm providing high quality workout programs. I love that. With either the nutrition tools and guides so people can learn how to improve their meals as a bonus. That's nice. Or collaborating with someone that specializes in the field to create and adjust everything for them. Pretty cool. And since I do love and understand a lot more stuff regarding training, trying to become a better coach in that regard seems like a better idea to me than trying to become a jack of all trades, True. But I'll experiment some more, see what works best, and hopefully close a few people in the following months. Thank you for your feedback, Fred. It's truly appreciated, man. Keep serving great daily updates. Thank you so much, bro. And you said it so well here, bro. But I'll experiment some more, see what works, and then run it up, right? And a lot of people forget that. Like Pedro, I really appreciated like you have like sharing so much stuff about your business. It takes some guts to like put out there in the internet, like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I struggle with. Can you give your 2 cents? And then I gave my 2 cents, and hopefully it made good sense. But it's like, as you said there, bro, it's like you just summarized business in one sentence, right? Let's experiment with like the thesis, the thought process that I have of like, I think this would bring value to my audience. I think this would be a good offer. I believe that this pricing is fair, but it's all just an experiment, right? And then you throw it out and give it to the market, and then you see how the market reacts. And then once you've had like, let's say 5, 10 or 15 clients, you notice that there's a pattern and like some recurring things in what these people like and what they don't like. And then you just do more of what people like and less what they don't. Throw it out to the market again, take it back and feedback, throw it out, feedback, and then you just add volume, right? Because you get more clients because you become better, you get more data so that you can make better decisions, then you get more cash flow so that you can take yourself out of the day-to-day acquisition or delivery, whatever it is that you do not want to spend your time doing, so that you can do higher leverage tasks. Then you trade cash for getting clients, for example, or getting your time back instead of time for money. And then you just like, now it's rolling, right? So like, just really accept everyone who's watching this, with no matter how much money you're making, it's all just an experiment at the end of the day to see what works and what doesn't. And then when you have something that is working, you just double down and run it up. So I appreciate that, man. Then we have Career Crazy saying, do you use AI in any way in your business for content creation or otherwise? And if no, are you planning on implementing it? Yeah, I use AI for some things. I use ChatGPT for a lot of stuff, just for like the basic, my own kind of like questions and summarizing numbers or whatever it might be. Then I've built my own content bot, which is a ChatGPT version of, I've fed it like with all my content and all my frameworks. And then I've turned it into like an AI GPT that I've given to all my clients so that it can help them create content. I use it occasionally for myself, but I also find a lot of joy in writing. That's the thing that I love to do most in this world. Other than that, I don't really use AI, to be fair. I probably should, but at the same time, it's like, it's a good question, bro. But I don't really do it. A little bit, and I'm getting better, I would say. So thank you for the question, bro. Then we have Uchi. When you say there were ways that you didn't want to run your business at its peak per month, what were some of the things that you didn't like? I'd appreciate it if you gave as many as possible, as I plan on taking my company to multi-millions and legit run it like a Tesla or an Apple, etc. But what were some of those things that you hated running the best like when you're making the most amount of money? Thanks in advance, Fred. By the way, been watching for weeks at this point, been subscribed for a while. Thanks for all the value. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. This is a really good question, and I appreciate you asking it, bro. So I think the cool part about scaling a company incredibly fast, so for context, in February 2023, I launched my coaching business called Short Form Society that was teaching beginners how to start and scale their own marketing agency. 8 months later, I did it with a business partner, for context. 8 months later, we had the first 100K month in revenue. Of course, we were spending a lot of money on ads, and we also had 5 full-time people at that point. And then 8 months later again, we hit 200K a month, with this time with 14 full-time people at department in Germany, which was the German version of this course with a German team as well. And we also had a Go High Level software, so like a white label thing that was for all students, that was also doing like 12, 13K a month. So like that company went incredibly fast, right? In like 18 months, zero foundation, and then all the way up to 200K a month. And that, of course, comes, like the only way that you can scale so incredibly fast is by putting a lot of input into a business, which is typically just more volume, which typically results in more stress in all aspects, not just in my head, but like in all areas of the business. So I think it's very important for me to say that I don't regret a single thing. It was the most amazing journey with amazing people that I'm also proud and happy to call my friends. We delivered an amazing product, never received any bad reviews, and it's also the case that allows me to do some of the things that I do now and work with the incredible clients that I do now is because that I've done at this point like $3.2 million in revenue for my own consulting offers, where like 2.4 or like 2.6 probably was now the dollar is a bit weaker, but in terms of like the Danish crown, which is where I'm from, but like 2.6 million or something that we did that in like those 18 months with that offer and coaching business. And it's the thing that has allowed me to do a lot of cool stuff that I do now because I have that on my resume, you know. So I think what did I didn't like? I think for the most part, I think it was, so I think because at the same time, it's like having a lot of employees, it's like, why is that a bad thing? Because sometimes it's also amazing that you have people to do tasks so that you can do other things. But I think it was just too many people for me at that time because I was not mentally ready as a business owner and like also as a person to manage these people and have such high responsibility when I was like 23 and 24, you know. So I think there was something to it there that is like, I think in the moment I was very tired of it, but now I'm looking back, it's like I need employees in my new business here also, and I like it way better now that I hire someone or these things also in my agency. So I think, but at that time it was really stressful. Then I think the offer, like teaching beginners how to do something, it was amazing, and like some really, really cool students that we worked with, and I loved it for the first like year of the business. But then I started to feel like I was not the best at teaching it anymore because I was doing something completely different. So I thought to myself, like, I felt like a little bit of an imposter because I was like spending all my time, energy, and effort on like fucking learning how to manage people and spending so much money on ads and like running a big corporation. Like, and then I was like, in all my content, I would be like, these are the 5 best hooks to use in your short form videos, or this is how to do outreach on email. And that is also completely fine, and I would also say that I knew how to do it because I did it when I started my agency in 2022. But over time, I just didn't really like the fact that I was not that Fred anymore, because I had also leveled up kinda. So I think we have like a lot of people and a lot of volume. Then we had the offer. Then I would say also like the offer itself and the disconnect, but then I also had like a third thing, which is kind of like also the audience and the marketing of like selling to beginners. It is very much outcome driven. I think I've always really tried my best to take really good care of my brand, but the market was just like going incredibly fast, especially in Denmark, and the claims and promises and lifestyle just became like too crazy. So even though that I tried my best to like really be as transparent as possible in my marketing, people would still put me in the same box as everyone else. So I felt like that I was just like another stupid ass guru selling you the dream on how you can start a remote online business, where I felt like I'm so much more than that. And like I really consider myself a really good business consultant that comes in and fixes shit in my clients' businesses, and that's why they stick around and pay me. It's because I'm really good at what I do. That's what I try to tell myself and prove to myself every day, that that's who I am, you know. So I think that was also something to it. And then it was also like having a business partner. I really loved my business partner, and we were perfect for each other for the first 1.5 years of running that business. But he also wanted some different things, and I wanted some different things. So I think I also needed to prove myself the fact that I could build something of my own, and not because I was like, maybe I should credit the business partner, or like, did he carry my ass through the entire business? So I really needed that experience of like, shit, I like this business that I'm running now, it's better than ever, and personally I'm making more money, like bottom line, into my savings account. And that has meant a lot to me, the fact that I've done everything on my own, and like built everything, done everything, created everything, learned a lot of new stuff. So yeah, I think that also meant a lot. So I would say those 4 things, yeah. And also the last thing would probably be having a business. I didn't like the fact that we focus so much on volume. It makes perfect sense when you want to scale fast. It's like, what's the fastest thing to scale, front end or back end? And it's definitely front end, because you can always just put more input into the machine, whereas back end is more about improving the machine, making it better, and also working with people over a long period of time to really harvest the fruits. Then it's like you might as well just push everything through front end. So I think that was like those are the 5 things. So it's important for me to say really cool business and experience, but I'm also happy about the way it went and when I closed it down and what I'm doing now. So thank you so much for the question. That's all for questions. I promise myself to keep these videos under 20 minutes. We have 2 minutes to run through brand stats, business stats, whatever we want to call it, which is me filling out this sheet. So let's track the growth of my social channels, and then of course also my cash revenue and costs. So daily updates is at 516. We probably did not get a subscriber. Nope. 516. Main channel is at 6,525. IG, let's see, 2830. And here 516. And pretty boring day yesterday with no cash, no rev, no costs. Very simple. There we go. Then for to-do list, if you've been following this for a while, you know that I take Saturdays off and I don't work. And today was Saturday, so I hit the gym, then I tanned for a while. Can you see? You probably can't. I did like 20 minutes, but it was nice. It's very hot here in Dubai, so not a lot of tanning. But then I played some CSGO with my good friend Anton, he's also the partner of my agency. And then I went to the Dubai Mall with some friends, actually a client and his girlfriend, but he's also my really good friend at this point. Actually become one really good friend. So that was very nice. We did a little bit of shopping. My girlfriend bought some things. That's it. That's shopping for me. And then we had some food, and now I just got back. So today has been a really good day. For strategy, nothing today, people. I decided to just like run through all questions so that I could end this video sharply. on 20 minutes. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you tomorrow.